have some skill, like manicure, pedicure, get a work permit, come in, and then daytime they work under a company, but at night they were actually part-time.
Working outside the law means that hostesses are very vulnerable. When things get out of hand inside a KTV, turning to the police for help is not an option.
I have seen guys that are totally unruly and disrespectful to the hostess. The moment they come into the room, the guy would start having his hands all around the lady, at every possible part of the body of the lady.
有些客人是很坏咯，他们要脱我们的衣服咯，要动要摸，他们压住我们，不让我们走，会喊。如果有朋友多一些，他们都会帮我们拉他出来了，给我拖出来了。
One of the things pre-pandemic that the women faced was excessive drinking. Right? They were forced to drink copious amounts of alcohol in order to hit certain quotas. To the extent that some of them might black out, some of them come to us and said, Vanessa, I don't know what happened last night, but I think a customer did something to me. Can you get me an STI check right now? I'm not sure, right, if I got something. And there was no recourse that they had.
Ironically, with heightened scrutiny after the COVID-19 cluster, the women are now even more vulnerable as KTVs go underground to evade the law.
Underground KTVs operates in many places all around Singapore, from office spaces, residential units like your landed properties, condominiums, even HDB.
The police are aware that unlicensed public entertainment outlets are operating despite COVID-19 restrictions.
So after the KTV cluster, we really noticed an upsurge of raids. We see continuous raids of underground bars and clubs and karaoke joints. A lot of short-term pass holders have already been arrested and deported as a result.
In this time of COVID-19, regular KTV activities like singing and hostessing are banned. But in November 2020, some KTVs reopened as F&B only operations. Undercover Asia investigated some of these new bistro bars. We did not enter for legal reasons. But KTV regulars informed Undercover Asia that some of these bistro bars are still flouting the rules.
We have our bistro, but with that, they still incorporate those elements of having hostesses entertaining their patrons. Restaurants that operates legally in the day, receiving customers with their doors wide open, and then transiting to a night operation after hours with their front shutters down.
Undercover Asia understands that demand for hostesses is still robust and far outstrips supply.
This mass arrest of short-term visit pass holders left a vacuum in the industry. The demand really won't go away just because there aren't any more hostesses in Singapore. What we have observed is that there has been a slow increased number of locals entering into the industry.
Julian is a long-time KTV regular. Since the height of the pandemic, he's noticed a shift in business operations. While some illegally operating KTV bars masquerade as bistros, others have moved into industrial and residential areas. Information on these new bars is shared via Telegram chat groups.
So the moment you are in, you can see there's over 10,000 members. All of these promotions will be posted daily on chat. Most of the promotional posters we see are pictures of alcohol. But if you see pictures of the ladies, you understand that more likely than not, they will also be able to provide hostesses and explicitly mentioning, having many pretty waitresses, and then with the word private. This will be an example for a private setting KTV. In a single message from a public group chat, they have all the information that any person would need. You have the address, the rates, you can even have the nationality of the hostesses.
Is it surprising to you to see them post so openly on the platform when it is still in some sense banned?
I don't find it surprising. Even before COVID, these avenues of discussion of such sensitive topics have been around. Even in this period now, I don't think anything will really deter them. If a particular customer is not a regular user of the platform or a regular patron that the Mama-san knows, highly likely they will not entertain any request from this anonymous user. You will have the authorities that are tapping on these platforms to fish out whatever that they need to know.
As a user, does that worry you?
Not really. I can remain as anonymous as I can. This is just an anonymous account. If anyone were to get caught in this domain, they can easily just create a new user and carry on with their promotions and advertisements.
During the pandemic, there have been some benefits for hostesses who continued to illegally work at pivoted bistro bars. Higher returns and better behaved clients.
现在的病情嘛，客人也不会做什么坏事啊，靠近你啊，做什么过分啊，都是比较好一点的。
Wendy worked in the food service for a decade until her Singaporean husband died. She turned to hostessing in 2018 to make up for the lost income. During the pandemic, Wendy worked in a pivoted bistro bar. But fearing COVID infection, she quit after a few short months. She then returned to a different business model that has gained popularity. Hostessing one-on-one at private homes. This is known as outcall hostessing.
You no longer go to the physical unit. You accept outcall services via Telegram, WeChat, Friends, all kinds of social media platforms. Probably the customer may have prior contacts with the mama, and then the mama would then share that, I do still have my few of those. They are available for outcall now. You want to have fun in your own private setting?
There are two tiers of outcall hostessing. The first is pure companionship. This is where a few hours of drinking costs $400. The second tier is where, beyond companionship, some hostesses offer sex as well, for an added upfront fee. This outcall model is more lucrative, but can be more dangerous for hostesses.
The hostess now are venturing into unknown places of where the customer asks them to go to. They have zero protection over what happens. In the KTVs, you still can run away, right? You can still shout for help. But now imagine if you're walking into the house unit of a person, she's entirely helpless. This is very dangerous force of events. If a lady agrees to go, she better be damn sure that she can protect herself.
Because there are no more KTVs to work at, some of these workers actually have to resort to doing full-service sex work. The problem with this is that they never anticipated to do full-service sex work, right? They might not have access to knowledge on how to negotiate condom use, right? Which then is a problem for the women, but also for society and public health at large.
Since the pandemic, Vanessa Ho and a team at Project X have doubled their efforts to reach out to these women.
没有人愿意啊，每天在那里给人家买我们。如果我们有钱，为什么我们要去做这种工作呢？反正家里 没有班资，孩子没有钱上学。如果家里没有人可以承担这个，你可以做，你肯定要牺牲你自己，换来家里的人嘛，对吗？
We often think about how can we protect the businesses, but we never thought about, okay, what about the hostesses, the waitresses? How do we protect the workers? When nightlife opens again, how do we protect the workers who have been forced underground?
Uncertainty remains over when KTVs will be allowed to fully reopen legally. And the future of the industry looks bleak. Can KTVs survive the pandemic? And if they do, is it time to overhaul this industry